The 1985 movie Red Sonja established the titular heroine as a legacy character. Sonja is everything you expect a superhero to be. She has a tragic backstory, supernatural sword fighting skills, and she's an overall badass, which is why fans were not surprised to learn that she's getting a reboot in 2025. The reboot is here, directed by Bassett and starring Matilda Lutz as the titular warrior. What happens in the new movie? Let's find out, but we can't continue if you aren't our subscriber, so make sure you tap on the red subscribe button and the bell icon close to it to never miss an update from our awesome channel. The origins of the heroine. If you remember the 1985 film, Sonja had quite a tragic beginning. She was abused physically and sexually and left for dead by the soldiers of the antagonist Queen Gedrin. Though not as graphic, Sonja's beginnings are tragic nonetheless. Her story begins in the Hyborian Age, and in the land of Hyrcania, where everything was peaceful. When Sonja was still a child, this peace is disrupted by the barbarians who attack Hyrcania. Sonja's mother urges her to escape with a small boy from her village. Just as she's escaping, however, he trips and she lets go of his hand. Years later, she roams the forest of Hyrcania, praying to the goddess Asherah and hoping to find her people again. Her only companion is her horse, with whom she has a deep bond. The tragedy of losing her parents, however, has not left her, as she's plagued by nightmares of the day the barbarians attacked. During her search, she comes across a group of soldiers brutally killing a mystical woodland creature. She follows them and comes across a camp where many other creatures are being killed and people are being enslaved. As she wonders what's happening, their emperor Dragon enters. He has by his side his companion Anisia. Dragon used to be a slave boy who served the ruthless barbarians, but through the knowledge of a mystical Hyrcanian book, he had established an empire. Unfortunately, the book was not in its entirety, and now Dragon was committed to finding its missing part. He believed that the book was a prophecy about him, as it said that a child is only freed by knowledge. He recognizes one of his prisoners as a former king who had spat upon him when he was a child, and demands to know where the Hyrcanians are. The former king replies that there were no Hyrcanians alive anymore, as the barbarians had slaughtered them all, and it was impossible to live in the forest. He adds that only the gods decide who lives there. Dragon angrily remarks that there are no gods. Realizing the king is of no use to him, Dragon asks him to be killed. Sonja's attention is drawn away from Dragon to imprisoned creatures, and she tries to free them. Unfortunately, she's seen by Anisia, who attacks her. Though Sonja gains the upper hand briefly, Dragon's men rush to Anisia's aid and knock Sonja out. New friends. Sonja is taken to the pits to join the Damnati, Dragon's gladiators who fight for his and his subjects' entertainment. In the pits, she meets Petra, who's quite a big deal there, and Osin the Untouched, who claims to have never been touched in battle. Sonja is eager to get out, but they all tell her that the only way she could achieve her freedom is by constantly winning her fights. She's also told that the only woman who has gained her freedom that way was Anisia, who the rumors say is haunted by all the people she killed. The white-haired Anisia is a really fearsome warrior, but unfortunately, the voices never left her. Because of this, she couldn't enjoy her freedom and felt trapped. It also didn't help that Dragon never let her into his bed, as he considered her insane. He regularly gave her potions, though, to help quiet the voices briefly, and urged her to find the remaining part of the book so that he could cure her. Once she was cured, he promised that she would be his empress. Back in the pits, the Damnati began preparing for a show. Sonja is reasonably shocked to realize that she now has to fight for sport, as she has previously only killed for food or protection. Petra, a strong Damnati, comments that she doesn't think that Sonja will last long. While preparing for the show, Sonja tries to look for the best armor and weapons, but she's not given the thing she chooses. Instead, she's given a bikini armor that's guaranteed to entertain the crowd. Soon the show begins, and Petra and Sonja are called into the arena to fight with each other. Sonja, a woman of pride and valor, refuses to kill someone she doesn't hate, and demands that the Emperor face her. The Emperor is, after all, the Emperor though, and has her insolence punished by an archer shooting an arrow through Petra. Back in the pits, as they mourn Petra, Sonja sings a Hyrcanian song. Drake's, a blonde man, recognizes the song and joins in. Later on, he takes her aside and tells her that he's Hyrcanian, and that the people of Hyrcania are still alive and well in the heart of the jungle. Her hope of finding her people renewed, she enters the arena the next day with complete confidence. Dragon is a bit of a tech genius, and all of his knowledge is from the book he had. His newest invention is the yoke, a circular device planted upon a creature to have it obey him without a second thought. He tested it out by placing it on a Cyclops that the Damanti were forced to face. Dragon might be a genius, but Sonja has something much more rare: common sense. She sees the weird circular device on the Cyclops' back and pulls it away. As the Cyclops charges at her to attack, she tells him that his enemy is the Emperor, not the Damnati. The Cyclops rushes at the audience and begins clobbering. The arena is soon destroyed by the power of the Cyclops, and the Emperor flees to safety with minor scratches. The attack of the Cyclops majorly destroyed the infrastructure of the pits, and created an opening for the Damnati to escape. After directing the Damnati to leave, Sonja returned to get her horse back. which had been captured alongside her. Not only does she find the horse, but she also finds Dragon's laboratory and destroys it. When Dragon finds his prized lab in ruins, he swears revenge against her and begins to follow her. Hyrcania and the Book of Secrets. Unaware of the threat looming so closely behind, the Damnati and Sonja begin to head to the forest of Hyrcania to find her people. Osun the Untouched reveals that he cannot continue with them, as he's the prince of a kingdom that was pillaged by Dragon's forces, and he now has the responsibility to rebuild it. After Osun leaves, some of the Damnati notice a Dragon soldier nearby and capture him. He tells him that the soldiers are nearby and that they could never escape Emperor Dragon. Sonja tells the Damnati that they can go their own way now, as she intends to lead them away from the Hyrcanians and face them in battle. But the Damnati don't agree to her plan. They tell her that since death is confirmed for all, they would rather choose to face it while taking down Dragon. The fierce force of the Damnati ambush and decimate Dragon's group of soldiers and head to take him out next. Dragon, however, is prepared. When Sonja shows herself, he throws the head of Drakes at her feet. Angered, she launches an attack. You might have noticed by now that Dragon doesn't do any of the fighting. His knowledge is what made him the Emperor, and he has a lot of soldiers and powerful people under him to secure him. This time he sends his most prized soldier, Anicia, to kill Sonja, promising to make her his empress if she kills Sonja, while he himself takes cover in a safe place away from all the action. Anicia, motivated by her desire to be empress, battles Sonja and drives her sword through her. Thinking she's dead, Anicia leaves to convey the news to her emperor, but there's still life in Sonja, and she meets her goddess Ashera in the form of her mother. Ashera baptizes her in the Red River and tells her that her old self must die for her to be reborn strong enough to defeat Dragon. Her hair redder than before, Sonja rises and finally finds her people. The Hyrcanians welcome her with open arms, and Sonja warns them that Dragon was here to finish the last of them. The priestess then tells her how Dragon had acquired the first half of the book. He'd been a small boy when the barbarians attacked. When their leader was trying to save the book, he was slaughtered, and the book was torn into two parts. The priestess got her hand on one part, while the other was taken by the small boy. Though the boy was enslaved, he resorted to reading the book during the tired nights, and grew up to become Emperor Dragon. As she narrates this story, Sonja remembers that the boy she had left behind was none other than the very emperor she was fighting against. The last encounter. It doesn't take long for Dragon to find the Hyrcanians, and his first target is the priestess. He clearly has some unresolved childhood trauma as he slaps her and demands that she say, "I abandoned young children," for leaving him behind. In her satchel, Dragon finds the book he was looking for and takes it. With no more use of the priestess, he commands his soldier to behead her. His soldier hesitates as he doesn't want to do harm to a woman of God, so Dragon takes his sword to do it himself, when Sonja suddenly appears. Dragon and Anicia retreat to a cottage while his soldiers battle it out with Sonja and the Damnati. Thankfully, the Damnati aren't alone in this battle, as Osun arrives with his soldiers. Dragon desperately flips through the book for some knowledge that will help him get out of this situation and prove to everyone that he is the prophesized emperor. Unfortunately, the book just has instructions on how to heal people. Dragon falls to his knees because of this realization and begs Anicia to save him, as there will be no empire without him. When Anicia is hesitant, her voices whisper to protect him, and Dragon adds that she should listen to those voices. Taken aback, Anicia asks him how he could hear the voices. In his desperation, Dragon tells her that he was the one who put the voices in her head, through the potions he claimed were helping her. Anicia drives her sword through him as revenge, but at the same time, Dragon drives his knife into her. Sonja enters the room just as Anicia is taking her last breaths, and she comments that she can no longer hear the voices. Sonja follows the blood trail outside where Dragon lies bleeding. She reveals their previous connection and apologizes for leaving him behind. Poor Dragon can only lament about how the Hyrcanian gods deserted him when he needed them the most. Sonja explains that he was given the knowledge to do the world good, but instead he allowed slavery and destruction of nature. Dragon reaches out to her and asks her to hold on to him this time at least, and Sonja complies. She takes his dead body to the Hyrcanians, who decide to give him a Hyrcanian funeral, not for the man he became, but for the boy who he was. With things set right, Sonja tells the Hyrcanians that she cannot join them, as she wants to wander around the world, seeking new adventures with her horse. In the final scene, we see Sonja at a tavern enjoying drinks and throwing knives at a dartboard, when Osun asks her for help in a new adventure. Marvelous verdict. This was the new and improved Red Sonja. Viewers and critics alike have been quite split about it, as many think that the plot had a lot of potential but was written badly. If you ask us, the most wonderful part of Red Sonja is the acting. Robert Sheehan, Wallace Day, and Matilda Lutz are all incredible in the film, and the defining factor if we say so ourselves. What did you think about Red Sonja? Let us know in the comments below, and if you liked the video, don't forget to tap on that thumb. We'll see you back soon with more awesome content, but until then, stay red and goodbye.